If you thought the Braxton family drama was over, think again. The latest revelations about Traci Braxton's estate are stirring up even more controversy, and it's as messy as ever. Allegedly, Traci left her son, Kevin Jor, in charge of her estate because she didn't trust her sisters due to their perceived greed. And honestly, she might have been onto something because, according to fans, her sisters now appear to be capitalizing on her death at the expense of her son. Traci reportedly had a will in place before her passing, and it included detailed instructions for her funeral arrangements. In the will, she named her son, Kevin Jr., as her personal representative. This meant he was tasked with paying her funeral expenses and settling any debts from her illness. Traci also outlined her wishes for her funeral: a single viewing, cremation, and no appearances by her organizations, such as Zeta Beta Sorority or the Order of the Eastern Stars. Kevin Jr. was given full control over these decisions, including what she would wear for the viewing and the guest list. The will also confirmed that Kevin Jr. was named executor of Traci's estate and would eventually take over managing her brand and likeness. While Kevin Sr. was left certain bank accounts, a diamond ring, and the remains of Traci's niece, Lauren Braxton, the majority of the estate, including real estate properties, went to Kevin Jr. This division of assets sparked significant discussion online. Many believe Traci altered her will to ensure her son had control instead of her husband, possibly due to allegations that Kevin Sr.'s infidelity led to her contracting HPV, which some speculate contributed to her throat cancer. Fans argue that Traci's decision to leave most of her estate to her son was deliberate and reflected her desire to shield him from the complexities of her marriage. But what about Traci's sisters? Why didn't she include them in her will? Allegedly, Traci excluded them because they often treated her poorly. Fans have pointed out several instances from Braxton family values where Traci seemed like the outcast of the family. One notable example was when her sisters visited her, only to nitpick and complain about the food she prepared. This lack of appreciation left viewers with the impression that Traci was undervalued and sidelined within the family dynamic. Many now believe Traci's decision to leave her sisters out of her will was a response to these long-standing issues. The fallout from Traci's passing has been especially difficult for her son, Kevin Jr., who has been grappling with grief while managing his new responsibilities. On the premiere of Braxton Family Values, Kevin Jr. revealed that, in addition to mourning his mother, he was going through a divorce from his wife, Olivia Herron, after several years of marriage. He admitted that the weight of his personal and family struggles had been overwhelming. In another scene, Trina Braxton shared her concerns with her husband, Von Scales, about the strained relationship between Kevin Sr. and Kevin Jr., noting that they weren't communicating as much as she had hoped during their time of grief. Meanwhile, Tamar Braxton raised alarms after observing Kevin Jr. speaking with police at his home. Tawanda later revealed that someone had allegedly tipped off the authorities about a warrant for Kevin Jr.'s arrest, further complicating the family's tumultuous dynamics. Things took a more concerning turn in episode 7 when Kevin Jr. opened up about his divorce, describing it as one of the hardest challenges he had faced. He revealed that he tried to save his marriage but felt blindsided when Olivia claimed he hadn't fought hard enough. Later, during a session with a grief counselor, Kevin Jr. appeared to be making progress. However, during a lunch break after the session, the production team found him unresponsive on the floor. According to the production team, they became worried when they hadn't heard from Kevin Jr. for some time. When they checked on him, they discovered he had suffered a seizure. After regaining consciousness, Kevin Jr. was immediately checked on by Tawanda, who had been informed of the incident by the show's producer. Tawanda was told that Kevin's seizures began after Traci's death, a detail later confirmed by Olivia. The production team expressed concerns about Kevin's health, noting that he needed medication to manage his condition. The situation grew even more troubling when footage surfaced showing a heated altercation between Kevin Sr. and Kevin Jr. The video captured Kevin Jr. repeatedly saying, "You told me no," while Kevin Sr. accused him of being a liar and even blamed him for Traci's cancer. While the full context of their argument is unclear, the intensity of the exchange has only added fuel to the already tense family dynamics. Fans have been quick to point out that Traci may have anticipated these issues, which could explain why she left her estate primarily to Kevin Jr. Many believe she wanted to protect her son from the toxic family environment she endured during her life. However, Kevin Jr. has faced his own challenges, from navigating grief and his divorce to managing his father's accusations and health struggles. Meanwhile, Traci's sisters have been under scrutiny for their actions since her passing. Some fans accuse them of using her death to advance their own agendas, reinforcing the perception that Traci's decision to exclude them from her will was intentional. As the drama surrounding the Braxton family continues to unfold, it's clear that Traci's passing has unearthed deep-seated tensions that may never be fully resolved. From Kevin Jr. Struggles to the family's fractured relationships, the road to healing seems far off. For now, the Braxton saga remains as dramatic and complicated as ever, leaving fans to wonder what will happen next.
No. You told me no. You told me no. You told me no. You told me no. When I asked you if let to live in a house, at the condo, you said no though. But you said no. You told me no. You told me no. I'm not lying. I have no reason to lie to you. Who the mother? There you go. There you go. Let's do it. 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 It was before your mother cancer. Before my wife cancer.
The situation also shed light on Kevin Jr.'s strained relationship with his father, with many speculating Kevin Sr.'s issues stem from Traci leaving their son in charge of her estate. Not long ago, Kevin Sr. called out the Braxton family for disrespecting him and accused them of capitalizing on Traci's death for their own benefit.
How close was the Braxtons with Junior before Traci got sick?
%20.
Oh, okay.
Braxton family drama didn't end with Traci Braxton's passing. Her husband, Kevin Surratt Sr., has openly accused her sisters of disrespecting him and capitalizing on Traci's death. According to Kevin, tensions escalated over funeral arrangements that he and Traci's manager organized, including a viewing and Zoom links, which the family claimed were against Traci's wishes. They insisted Traci had explicitly requested to be cremated immediately after her death, without a funeral or wake. Despite the family's claims, Kevin moved forward with the memorial. While Traci's sisters and mother did not attend, her father did, but reportedly faced obstacles. Allegedly, he wasn't on the guest list and was initially denied entry. An insider claimed he was so upset that a church member had to recognize him and allow him in, where he was seated in the 4th row and wasn't permitted to speak. However, Kevin denied this, stating that Traci's father and brother briefly attended and were not barred from celebrating her life. He also claimed that the sisters and mother were invited, but chose not to attend. Kevin defended his decision to hold a funeral, stating it was aligned with Traci's wishes, as she wanted a viewing and a single memorial service where her management, PR team, and loved ones could honor her. In his words, "I was with my wife more than anybody in this world. I know my wife. When she got cancer, we really started to communicate about funeral plans. I went to every single one of her doctor appointments. That's how we were." Kevin expressed frustration over being portrayed as a neglectful husband, emphasizing his dedication to Traci throughout her illness and their marriage. This animosity between Kevin and the Braxton sisters isn't new. Long-standing tensions resurfaced during Traci's final days and after her passing. The sisters reportedly had issues with Kevin, the one person who stayed by Traci's side until the end. Public disrespect toward Kevin wasn't uncommon, as seen on Braxton Family Values. In one instance, Traci called her sister Tawanda a snake after feeling betrayed when Tawanda's then-fiancé, Sean Hall, tried to force the sisters to reconcile during a Napa Valley trip. During the same period, Tamar Braxton slammed Kevin over his criminal record, further straining relations. Tawanda later reacted to Traci's frustrations, shading her by responding to a fan, saying, "She's mad because, unlike her, I have a real man." Kevin's exclusion from the family's grieving process left many fans questioning why Traci's husband wasn't more involved. Social media users criticized the Braxton sisters for discussing Traci's legacy and plans without including Kevin, who was closest to her. In response to the public speculation, Kevin addressed the situation during an Instagram Live, implying there were unresolved issues between him and the family. He shared that it took a village to help him and Kevin Jr. navigate their grief and hinted at receiving outside support during this difficult time. In a separate interview, Kevin shed light on the strained relationship he's had with the Braxton sisters since the beginning of his marriage to Traci. He claimed they never liked him and pressured Traci to end her pregnancy and leave the group when they were starting out in the music industry. Kevin's revelations painted a picture of years of tension, culminating in the fallout after Traci's passing. As for Kevin Jr., he has been struggling significantly with his mother's death. Kevin Sr. shared that his son is battling alcohol issues and having difficulty coping without Traci. Fans noted how the weight of grief seemed to fall squarely on Kevin Jr.'s shoulders, given Traci's decision to leave him in charge of her estate. While this move was seen by many as a reflection of Traci's trust in her son, it also highlighted the complex family dynamics and underlying tensions. Despite Kevin Sr.'s efforts to defend himself and clarify his side of the story, the Braxton family remains divided. The ongoing public feud has only deepened the cracks within the family, leaving fans to wonder if the Braxtons will ever find common ground to honor Traci's legacy peacefully.
Absolutely saw the episode. So this is the illegitimate child situation. So I told you earlier, I have a daughter. And so at that time, remember I told you earlier also, I used to work a lot. So when Traci and them started doing the show, I eased up on work and then I was home more and I was taking care of, like my home. So my grandson used to spend a lot of time with me. My grandson is Zaire for my daughter. So Zaire used to come over the house, and my favorite spot, Sherelle, is Starbucks. So me and him would go to Starbucks, and we would partake in my venti chai, and we had fun. But he was hyper, so he was all over the place. So this girl saw me at Starbucks, and she put it on Twitter. I'm in the Starbucks with a child, and I guess the rumor went from there. So my sister-in-law Tawanda had got with Traci's management team, which the assistant manager, they came up with this thing that I had an illegitimate child, and they put it on the show. But the child was my grandson, Zaire. And so the funny part is, like I was telling Trey, I said, Trey, that's how we ended up going on marriage boot camp. I said, so if you look at it, it looked one way, but it turned into something else because we was able to go on marriage boot camp and work out some of our issues. So it really elevated our marriage. So thank you. Is what I said to that situation.
On one hand, Kevin Sr. seems like the villain, but some argue the Braxton sisters are channeling their guilt over how they treated Traci into anger toward him. They've allegedly turned others against him by publicizing Kevin Jr.'s struggles with his father, despite barring Kevin Sr. from sharing his side on the show. Critics also believe the sisters are not only capitalizing on Traci's death, but possibly using Kevin Jr. for money. They point out how Kevin Jr. wasn't included in family events when Traci was alive. Yet now he's suddenly being placed at the center. Many think Traci foresaw this behavior, which is why she left her sisters out of her estate plans entirely. What do you think about the fights with Kevin Sr.? Are the Braxton sisters exploiting Traci's passing and using Kevin Jr. to their advantage? And why do you think Traci trusted no one but her son to handle her legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.